Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's August 23rd, 2021. I'm over in the work area right now, and this is another garden update, but I thought since this is handy to come right in here, you'd be able to see some of the red onions that Thea harvested yesterday and the day before. So pretty good crop. We've got to wait for everything to dry out and for all the wraps to start to consolidate and tighten right up and get papery and all. So we got a couple weeks. Before this, we had the garlic in here. We had the shallots out back. I did post a video, oh gosh, a week or 2 weeks ago about our processing garlic and all, and I found a few more garlic heads. I don't know if you can see this. A few more garlic heads that I'm going to go ahead and process to dehydrate because they don't have enough wraps on them, or the wraps have been damaged somewhat. And these are the red Chinook garlic, hardneck garlic. So that'll get turned into garlic powder as well. Sorry about the lights and all, but to give you a little bit of an update on how things have been going. Let's go back out here. And another thing, the peach trees that we've grown our peach trees, the varieties that we've selected and all, they all come at different times throughout the season, but they're now fruiting in all three food forests, so it's very hard for me to get around and get to each one of those while I'm doing the other projects. So I'm behind on everything. But I did get some peach pits here from some of the peaches we froze and all. So those peach pits, I'll be starting more seeds. I haven't done anything else with the gooseberry plants here. These are the simple layering technique. There's a piece of broccoli there that the dog had. And I've got some more weeding to do around here as well. But the gooseberry plants have been doing great. The chives around the outside are doing great as well. We'll go in here real quick. Again, I'm behind on all my weeding, but the honeyberries, all these are the honeyberry plants. These are really doing great all along in here. I keep weeding and throwing the weeds up on here, but I haven't cleaned up the weeds. The reason we throw the weeds onto the weed mat, they desiccate, destroys them, decreases their viability, and therefore we can use it right in our composting system or our bed building system. The blueberry plants, it looks like they're done now as far as producing blueberries, so they're doing really well. The cauliflower, I would say this has not been a success for the last 2 years, the cauliflower. These are self-blanching ones, meaning that they cover themselves up and start to produce little heads. Let's see if there's a little head in here started. Yes, there's a small head in there. I'm not sure that you can see it. But some of them don't look great at all. Probably edible, but I think next year I'll be propagating more of the hardwood cuttings in this area. I haven't been through these. I'm not happy with either of these, the beds that I've got for the cauliflower. Again, here's one down in here, really didn't self-blanch. And so I've got to research what I can do to improve. If anyone's got some great ideas, please let us know in the comments below. More of our volunteer thornless blackberry plants here. And again, I just love our Scarlet red runner beans. They've been absolutely fantastic. We love watching the hummingbirds and butterflies come into these. This is nothing like having a nice tunnel, and this makes it so easy having a tunnel like this for harvesting the beans. You've got to go, it's like harvesting each side of each one of these tunnels works out just great. And by the end of the season, the whole cover will be putting lots of seeds down. So we'll have to go back and see when we planted these seeds. See, it planted this trellis first. The other ones aren't quite as far as these ones. These are the red currants. They've been doing absolutely fantastic. I can't keep up with harvesting the broccoli. I haven't started breaking this bed down over in here yet, but I'll show you over in the center garden how I've been dealing with it. But the broccoli keeps giving. After you get your initial head, you get all of these additional shoots that come up, and they send out more side shoots which develop as well. And it gets to be a problem as far as being able to get down the aisles to harvest them. So I'm really getting pretty heavy at pruning them in the other side. You can see again here these red currant plants are just going gangbusters. Really happy with that. There are some weeds in here. I've got to get at some of the weeds. I'm spending a lot of time down and back in the forest working on breaking down the stone walls and using those for road fill, so the access roads are getting better, and taking down a lot of the dead trees down in the forest. Now this is the Zone 5 permaculture forest. This is one that really we leave to nature to manage, but the truth is, because there's so much of the grapevine and the emerald ash boring insects down there, that it's quite an issue. And it's been pretty muddy down there, so I've had to do more and more repair of the roads down there. I did get in here and harvest some of our blue potatoes this morning, and the soil's still moist, so we got 3 bins with small amounts of blue potatoes. So these came out of the central garden. I don't know if we rub it some, you may be able to see. Not only is the skin blue, but the actual the flesh of the potato is blue, so it's loaded with anthocyanins like blackberries and blueberries and all of that blue pigment. Really nutritious. They don't get as big as our russets and other potatoes, but they do pretty well. Thea come out today and harvested. So we started harvesting, I think, 2 weeks ago. These are our San Marzano tomatoes, and I've got to do some pruning so it gets easier down in here. I pruned I cut back the comfrey this week, and you can see it's all over the weed mat down there. And I've got to cut back all of these the San Marzano tomatoes. Thea came out and harvested probably about 30 gallons of tomatoes, and some of it they're not completely ripe, so over the next 4 to 5 days. But as you look down the row here in between the cages that we got here for support cages, you can see it's pretty tough to get down in here. So I'm just going to prune everything off since we have so many of them. You know, it's these lateral branches and the very bushy San Marzano tomato varieties. They produce tremendous volume of tomatoes, all in about a 4 to 5, 6 week period. Probably about 4 weeks is the maximum, and you do get some over the shorter periods. Over here is where I've been working today a little bit. I've got more work to do. So this is our broccoli. This has been producing like gangbusters. I think yesterday I harvested a finished product about 6 or 8 gallons, I think. About 10 gallons in 2 heaping 5-gallon buckets of heads yesterday. So this really has been working out great. And today I've really been chopping them down. I haven't done anything with the peppers. These pepper plants have been doing fantastic. And I attribute a lot of their tremendous fruit production due to the mycorrhizal fungi that we inoculated each one with in the very beginning. So I have more pruning to do. You can see there's lots of pieces of material laying between the cauliflower and the broccoli here. I really chopped back the cauliflower today and chopped back a lot of the broccoli, but I'm done with that for today. These are the 2 beds that the red onions were in, and I pulled out the weeds that were in between them. They're on the black weed mats. We'll let them have about 3 days of hard sun. That will devitalize the seeds and the vegetation, and they'll go over here. And this is the bed where the blue potatoes were. So it was a narrow, high blue potato, if you look in the last garden update. And I took the mulch, the hardwood mulch, I pulled it off to the side, harvested the blue potatoes, and there's some peach flesh in here, there's some broccoli in there, and all of the material from over here that I've been taking out. So this was the area of all wood chips, probably right up to about that drip tape there was all wood chips to here. And I went through and weed whacked down the weeds and started covering it up with a lot of the material, the vegetable matter, the biomass, above ground biomass that's going to be integrated into the soil below it. But I'll be putting cover crop seed over each one of these beds and on top of this area as well. So we're going to get these areas, increase the viability and the soil structure of each one of these beds for next season. I'm just a bit behind here. Okay. So that's where we are with the central garden. So I gotta say, you know, the tomatoes are always a real success, these San Marzano tomatoes. These are not the ones that everybody thinks that are indeterminates. These end up being determinates. We've grown indeterminates for many years, and they would be, you know, much taller than this and vining. But these ones here are more of a determinate variety, more of a bush type one. They all produce their fruit at about the same time. But the mycorrhizal fungi, I think, help out a lot with both the peppers and the tomatoes. The weed mats and the drip tapes work out great, but we want to start integrating more of the cover crops, as I mentioned in a previous video, and some of the reasons for that. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get back over here and do some more work in this garden. But my body's sore from being bent over so much today. So I'll be going down and back and working more in the forest this afternoon. Now we'll head over here to the eastern garden plot. We never got around to thinning the carrots. So this is the trellis right here. It's coming along. We never got those put back up on their on the trellis the way he was able to initially with the other gardens. But so this trellis is and it's a couple weeks behind. I think 3 weeks behind. These other two trellises are about 3 weeks behind the other one, but this is going to have plenty of plants on it as well. And the carrots we never got to thin, unfortunately, and as you can see, some of them are bolting and going to go to seed here. And these are all the carrots that were transplanted as well down in this area, and lots of weeds growing up in here. So I've got to deal with this, but we'll be putting cover crops in these beds as well. The red onions were the red onions. Oh, the red onions were along in here. So they harvested the red onions. We have the beans here, more of the banana peppers, and they don't do quite as well in the shade over here, but they're still doing okay. These are our russet potatoes over here, so we'll see how they end up doing this season. You know, whatever we get will work out just fine. More of the banana peppers over in here, and our red Russian kale over in this location. And this is, I did get some questions about the Hearty Kiwis. These produce really tiny little fruit, and they're all gone now. The birds eat just about all of our kiwis. And really a prolific grower, and they will cover just about anything. They climb up the trees. The oak tree, they're all over the oak tree as well. And that's young honey locust right along in here as well. And you can see here's more of the Hearty Kiwi. So you really have to be selective when you're planting the Hearty Kiwis. Give it places to climb, and know where those, and choose the places wisely, because they can climb up a 50-foot tree without any trouble. Okay, again, we have the Russian red. Over here we have some lemon balm. Another honey locust here, and down in here we have our rosemary all along in here. So haven't gotten to doing any weeding, and rosemary in here as well. And the scarlet red runner beans all along in this area. Some are running on the ground out there, but well, the critters will enjoy the beans. And this is our third trellis with the scarlet red runner beans. As I mentioned before, we really do like the Cherokee Trail of Tear beans, but we love the size of these beans and how easy it is to dry them and hull these bean husks, and we grow these for dry beans. But the other thing is, I think they look absolutely beautiful, and we love watching the wildlife, the hummingbirds with it, and all the other birds as well, and the butterflies. They like them. Sweet potatoes have been doing fantastic over here. You can see they're growing like crazy. The chives are all going to flower along in here. My mower is broken down again, so I'm working on that at this point. Waiting for some more parts to come in. Our strawberry beds, unfortunately, well, we lost a lot of them when I didn't notice that the timer wasn't turning on and watering all of them. So I've got to weed this and get this ready for next year. Thea wants me to get more of the strawberry plants. Oh Lord. I just hate when I make big mistakes and don't really pay attention to the timers and all. The hosta berries, well, these are going like gangbusters out here still. I haven't been weeding in here this last couple weeks. I've been real busy. I came down along this outside and got the grasses that were growing in here. There still are some of the Illinois mulberry bushes down in here still alive. Still a few of the high bush cranberry bushes. So this is a high bush cranberry bush, which are all along one of our living fences. These are all the hosta berries. They are just loving it over here. So I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to manage this bed for this winter. I'd really like to get some cover crop in here as well, but I may end up not doing that this season. And again, here I am getting behind on getting my weeding done. So, and that bush right over there is actually a, oh my goodness, beautiful pink flowers, redbud tree, or bush in this case. And this is our bed of weeds right now, which was strawberries before. Horsetail's been taking over part of the black currant bed here. The black currants aren't doing as well when they're competing with the horsetail. Again, this is all sage in here, gone to seed. I should get over here and try and save some of the seed. Our thyme has been doing good all around in there. The lavender already did its whole flush of seed and all, and flowering. And more of the sage over here. Some is growing back more, while some of it has already gone to seed. So, absolutely wonderful. I gotta say, I really do love the fragrances from all of these different herbs. It's so amazing. So, that's about it with today's garden update. Real happy with the productivity from the cutbacks that we've done, and we'll probably next year do some more cutbacks as well, and I'll do more of the propagating of our various perennial plants, so we can get more and more of those. And I am using Facebook Marketplace to sell some of our plants now, as opposed to just using Craigslist, and that's been a bit more successful. And hopefully within the next couple of years, we'll update our website, mindfullivingsanctuary.com, and also work on our Facebook Marketplace for Mindful Living Sanctuary. Right now, we're just doing it under my name, and but hopefully we'll be able to get it to the point so that we can communicate more, outreach more to the people who are interested in this sort of thing and all. So far so good. I really like hearing how things are going. I got some great comments last week, or the last posting, about the garden update. So keep telling us how things are going. I know there's challenges. Every year there's going to be challenges, just like we had with our cauliflower. And we've been doing this for years now. But I would say just keep plugging away, share your thoughts about how things are going with yours. If you have suggestions, we're always interested in hearing what you think as well. And so thanks so much for watching, folks. If you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and by all means, stay safe and grow some more gardens. Start planning for next year while you're looking at your gardens now. Don't overdo it, but do it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now.